Well, 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 the moment everyone's been waiting for finally arrived. Nike officially dropped Caitlin Clark's personal logo, and let me tell you, the internet is divided. Some fans are celebrating like it's Christmas morning, while others are roasting it like they just got served the blandest meal of their life. And honestly, that mix of hype and hate is exactly what makes this moment so fascinating. Let's start with the logo itself. On first glance, it's clean, it's sleek. If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. It looks like something you'd see plastered on a high-end handbag or maybe etched into the side of a boutique sneaker. It's professional. It's polished. It's fine. And that's the kicker. It's fine. It doesn't slap you in the face with creativity. It doesn't scream personality. It's not Sabrina Ionescu's, which feels bold and dynamic. And it doesn't have Angel Reese's playful yet defiant vibe. Caitlin's logo lands somewhere in between. It's elegant, yes, but is it unforgettable? Not yet. But here's the thing. Logos are like songs on the radio. Sometimes they don't grab you right away, but give a few spins, and suddenly you can't imagine your life without them. Caitlin's logo feels like that kind of design. It may not knock you out on day one, but with time, with context, with the right sneakers attached to it, it could grow into an icon. Of course, that hasn't stopped the critics from sharpening their knives. Social media was flooded with hot takes the second Nike revealed it. Some called it lazy. Others said it looked like something whipped up on Canva in 5 minutes. And the price tag on the merch? Oh, that lit the gasoline. $40 for a t-shirt with Caitlin's new logo slapped on front? Fans weren't just raising eyebrows. They were throwing side eyes so hard they almost strained their necks. $40 for a tee isn't just expensive. It's scandalous, especially when you consider alternatives. Fans are pointing out they can grab MCT Hoop Store shirts for $14.99 and still look fresh. Nike's pricing isn't just ambitious. It feels tone-deaf, especially for fans who've been waiting for years to rep Caitlin without breaking the bank. But here's the twist. Even with all the griping, the merch is still flying. Why? Because Caitlin Clark isn't just an athlete. She's a cultural force. Love the logo or hate it, people want it on the movement. Owning a Caitlin shirt right now isn't about fashion. It's about planting your flag in the Caitlin Clark era. It's about saying, yeah, I was there when she blew up. And the logo is just the appetizer. The real main course? Caitlin Clark's signature shoe. Yes, you heard that right. After years of Nike fumbling the bag, after fans screaming about disrespect, after watching her draft class peers like Angel Reese scoop up deals and designs, Caitlin's long-awaited shoe is finally coming in 2026. Now, let's pause for a second and appreciate how overdue this is. Caitlin Clark isn't just a star. She's a star. She's the one drawing millions of new eyes to the WNBA. She's the one filling arenas, crashing broadcast ratings, and sparking debates at dinner tables across the country. And yet, Nike took this long to give her a signature shoe? It's absurd. It's borderline disrespectful. If she were a rookie phenomenon in the NBA, her first pair would have dropped the day after the draft. Instead, Caitlin's had to wait while the sneaker world plays catch-up. That's why the announcement of her 2026 shoe feels so monumental. It's not just footwear, it's vindication. It's Nike finally saying, yeah, we get it. You're not just a star, you're the star. And the timing could be delicious. Imagine Nike aligning the shoe release with the start of the WNBA season, creating a cultural event, a sneaker drop that sells out in minutes, and has people lining up like it's Jordans in the 90s. And speaking of comparisons, let's address the elephant in the room, how Caitlin's logo stacks up against her peers. Sabrina Ionescu's logo still reigns supreme. It's sharp, modern, and instantly recognizable. Angel Reese's? It has that bold, personality-driven flair that matches her energy on and off the court. Caitlin's? It sits comfortably in third place right now, but it's not trailing by miles. If anything, it's the kind of design that could age gracefully like a fine wine, or, in sneaker terms, like the Nike swoosh itself. Not flashy, not loud, but timeless. And let's not forget Aya Wilson's infamous logo. Fans have not been kind. with one of the funniest burns being that it looks like a bottle opener. Compared to that, Caitlin's logo feels like Dior. It's not perfect, but it clears the bar, and that's already enough to keep her haters fuming. Because that's the part people forget. Hate is part of the process. Every iconic athlete, every iconic brand had detractors in the beginning. When Jordan released his first shoes, critics called them too flashy. When LeBron dropped his early designs, people said they were clunky. Greatness doesn't come pre-packaged with universal approval. It earns it over time. Caitlin's logo may be fine today, but slap it on the side of a game-changing sneaker in 2026, and suddenly it's legendary. And here's the kicker. The haters, they're going to buy it anyway. They'll complain about the design. They'll moan about the $40 t-shirts. They'll roast Nike for being late to party. And then they'll line up to grab Caitlin's signature shoe the second it drops. Why? Because deep down, they know this isn't just about style. It's about history. Being part of the Caitlin Clark era is bigger than any logo critique. And you can't deny the marketing genius here. By rolling out the logo now and teasing the shoe for 2026, Nike has locked fans into a 2-year hype cycle. Every step Caitlin takes on the court, every viral highlight, every clutch shot, it's all building anticipation for that release. And when it finally comes, it won't just be a sneaker. It'll be the crown jewel of a movement that's been simmering for years. So let's take stock. The logo? It's not blowing anyone's mind, but it's solid, and it'll probably grow on people. The merch? Overpriced, yes, but still selling because Caitlin Clark is bigger than price tags. The signature shoe? A game changer in the making, not just for Caitlin, but for the WNBA, for women's sports, for the entire culture of sneakers. And that's why the haters are fuming. Because every complaint, every side eye, every roast online only feeds a hype machine. Caitlin Clark doesn't need universal love. She needs conversation, and she's got it in spades. So the next time someone grumbles about her logo being just fine, remind them, fine is how legends start. Ordinary today, iconic tomorrow. And when those shoes drop in 2026, all the mere reactions are going to flip into must-have desperation. Mark my words. Caitlin Clark's logo may not be perfect, but her brand, it's unstoppable. Nike's late, but they finally got the memo. And now, everyone else will just have to keep up. So what do you think? Did Nike nail it or fumble it? Is $40 for a tee robbery, or are you lining up anyway? And most importantly, are you ready for Caitlin's signature sneaker to shut the haters down once and for all? Because whether you're cheering or complaining, one thing's clear. Caitlin Clark isn't just part of the conversation. She is the conversation. And trust me, this is only the beginning. See you at the next meltdown. All right, let's push this even further. Because the Caitlin Clark sneaker saga isn't just about a logo or an overpriced t-shirt. It's about the evolution of an athlete from rookie phenom to global brand. What Nike has done here is plant a flag. And whether you love it or hate it, whether you think the logo is bland or brilliant, the fact remains, Caitlin Clark is officially in the pantheon. And here's where the drama really gets juicy. Because sneaker deals in sports aren't just contracts. They're coronations. They tell you who the companies believe in, who they're willing to bet millions on, and who they see as a future. Caitlin Clark getting her own signature shoe is Nike announcing to the world, this is the one, this is our investment. And that announcement sends shockwaves. Think back on history. Michael Jordan wasn't the only rookie with promise when he signed with Nike, but he was the one they crowned. That shoe didn't just change basketball, it changed culture. And while I'm not saying Caitlin's shoe will literally birth a global sneaker revolution, the fact is, she's in a position no WNBA player has been in before. Sabrina Ionescu has a shoe, sure. Angel Reese has a deal. Aya Wilson is signed. But Caitlin Clark's hype level? That's something different. This isn't just about the WNBA. It's about mainstream sports fans, kids who don't even watch women's basketball but know Caitlin Clark. That's the rare kind of recognition Nike lives for. Now, let's get real. Nike almost blew this. They dragged their feet. Fans have been screaming for Caitlin to get a signature line for over a year now. Every viral highlight, every sold-out arena, every bump in TV ratings, all of it was basically free advertising, and Nike let it sit. They watched. They waited. They tested the waters. Meanwhile, Caitlin's fans were out there designing their own merch, buying bootleg tees, creating their own Clark-inspired graphics because Nike wasn't delivering. That gap, that silence, was disrespectful. So when the logo finally dropped, fans didn't just react to the design. They reacted to the delay. This wasn't just a logo reveal. It was a moment of, finally, about time, which is why the $40 shirt price stung even more. Fans felt like they'd been ignored for months. And when Nike finally offered something, it came with a premium price tag. It's almost like they underestimated the loyalty of Caitlin's fan base, assuming people would just fork over cash no matter what. Spoiler, they did, but not without calling it robbery first. And let's be clear, this logo isn't bad. If anything, it looks like it belongs to a luxury brand. Something you'd see stitched on a leather bag or embossed on a perfume bottle. It's refined. It's high class. But does it scream basketball? That's the debate. Sabrina's logo feels like movement, energy, a swoosh within a swoosh. Angel Reese's logo feels bold, brash, playful, exactly her personality. Caitlin's? It's safe. It's controlled. It's the kind of thing that will look phenomenal on lifestyle gear, but on the court, fans are divided. But here's where Nike's brilliance might actually show through. They're not trying to make Caitlin Clark the loud brand. They're positioning her as a timeless brand. Think about Federer. Think about Serena. Their logos weren't wild. They were elegant, simple, almost regal. Caitlin's brand is headed in that direction. It may not pop right now, but in 10 years, you'll see it and immediately associate it with greatness. Of course, none of this matters if the shoe doesn't deliver. The 2026 drop has to be iconic. It can't just be another generic basketball sneaker with a logo slapped on the tongue. It has to feel like Caitlin. Sharp, confident, capable of pulling up from the logo and drilling a three in your face. If Nike nails that, game over. If they don't, the haters are going to have a field day. And let's talk about those haters for a second, because they're part of the story too. Every great athlete has a wave of detractors that fuel their rise. Caitlin Clark has been no exception. From the moment she entered the WNBA, she's been under attack. Too hyped, too cocky, too many minutes on ESPN, too much spotlight. And yet, here we are, with Nike making her the centerpiece of their women's basketball strategy. The hate, ironically, has only made her bigger, because every time someone complains about her, it keeps her name in the headlines. That's why Haters Fuming isn't just a catchy title. It's the reality. People who can't stand Caitlin Clark are now faced with the fact that she's unavoidable. Her logo's on t-shirts. Her shoes on the horizon. Her highlights are still going viral. Her brand is cemented whether they like it or not. And deep down, they're going to buy the merch anyway. That's the dirty little secret. They'll complain about $40 shirts, but they'll want one. They'll roast the logo, but they'll want the shoe, because being part of the Caitlin Clark story, even as a critic, is still being part of history. Now let's zoom out. What does this mean for the WNBA? A lot, because let's be honest, the league has been desperate for this kind of mainstream breakthrough. Yes, Sabrina's shoe was a milestone. Yes, Aya Wilson deserves one too. But Caitlin Clark's reach extends beyond the WNBA diehards. This is a type of move that puts women's basketball sneaker culture into malls, into high schools, into middle school gyms where kids are deciding whose shoes they want to wear when they lace up. Picture it. 10 years from now, a kid says, "Yeah, my first pair of basketball shoes weren't Jordans. They were Clarks." That's legacy. That's exactly what Nike is betting on. And don't underestimate the timing of this either. 2026 isn't random. By then, Caitlin will hopefully have shaken off injuries, found her groove, and proven she's not just hype, she's dominance. Nike isn't just launching a shoe, they're launching a story arc. From hype rookie to tested warrior to established star, 2026 will be the culmination. The shoe won't just be about performance. It'll be about narrative. But here's the danger. Nike has to deliver. If this shoe ends up being a clunky, uninspired model, the backlash will be merciless. Fans have waited too long. The expectations are too high. Caitlin Clark isn't just another name on the roster. She's the face of an entire movement. Nike knows this. They can't afford to get lazy. So let's lay it out. The logo is a first step. The merchandise is a testing ground. But the shoe? That's the crown jewel. And the haters? They're just background noise and story of a player who went from college sensation to global icon. Because whether you think the logo is mid or magnificent, whether you think $40 is insane or just the cost of fandom, one thing's undeniable. Caitlin Clark's brand is here, and it's not going anywhere. So let me ask you, will you be one of the first in line when Caitlin's signature shoe drops? Or will you be one of the haters pretending you don't care while secretly refreshing the Nike app? Either way, history is about to be made. All right, let's crank this up even more, because the Caitlin Clark logo and upcoming sneaker aren't just about fashion or even basketball. They're about power. They're about influence. They're about who gets to define the future of women's sports. And right now, Caitlin Clark is sitting dead center in that storm. Think about how insane this moment really is. A rookie who hasn't even played 2 full healthy seasons yet already has a kind of brand gravity that took other athletes decades to build. That's not normal. That's generational. And Nike, for all their dragging their feet and fumbling around, has finally admitted what fans already knew. Caitlin Clark isn't just the future of the WNBA. She's the future of their bottom line. But here's the spicy part. The critics aren't wrong when they say Nike treated her differently. You look at Sabrina Ionescu, signature shoe, bold campaign, a logo that actually feels alive. Angel Reese, boom, instant branding. Caitlin, crickets, until the public pressure got too loud to ignore. That's where the resentment comes in. Fans see Caitlin as being disrespected by the brand that should have crowned her the second she was drafted. And even now, with the logo finally out, the signature shoe still years away. It feels like Nike is playing catch-up instead of leading the way. And the $40 t-shirt fiasco? That's Exhibit A in how tone-deaf corporations can be. Nike knows Caitlin Clark supporters are rabid, loyal, and willing to spend, but gouging them right out of the gate? That's how you turn excitement into skepticism. Fans want to support Caitlin, not feel like they're getting hustled. It's the difference between growing a community and exploiting one. But here's where Nike accidentally struck gold: the controversy itself. The overpriced shirts, the bland logo complaints, the endless debates about whether it's iconic or boring. All of it just fuels a hype machine. Because now Caitlin's logo isn't just a design, it's a conversation. Every tweet, every Instagram post, every YouTube review arguing about whether it's good or bad keeps Caitlin's brand alive in people's minds. And in the world of marketing, that's priceless. Now, let's zoom in on what this means for Caitlin herself. She's already under a ridiculous amount of pressure. Everywhere she goes, she's expected to sell out arenas, boost ratings, carry her team, and somehow represent the league as its golden child. That's enough weight to break anyone. But now add the sneaker empire to that list. Add being the face of Nike's women's basketball division. Suddenly, she's not just playing basketball. She's running a global brand. And that's the paradox of Caitlin Clark right now. On the one hand, she's still just trying to navigate her early years in the league, dealing with injuries, with defenses that target her, with teammates trying to figure out how to play around her style. On the other hand, she's being elevated into this mythic figure whose initials are going to sit next to the likes of MJ, Kobe, and LeBron in the sneaker world. That's the kind of duality that can either forge legends or burn them out. And let's not forget, the sneaker game is ruthless. For every Jordan, there's a dozen forgotten names whose signature shoes barely made a ripple. Fans will buy Caitlin's first pair out of curiosity, hype, or pure loyalty. But what happens after that? Will the design actually hold up? Will it perform on the court? Will kids actually want to wear them in high school gyms and say, "These are Clark's"? That's the long game Nike is gambling on, and it's not guaranteed. Now, here's where the drama gets even juicier, because sneaker culture isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about lifestyle. Jordans became streetwear. Coves became must-haves even for people who never touched a court. Caitlin Clark's shoe has a potential to break out the same way. Imagine young women wearing them to school, not because they hoop, but because they want to rep Caitlin as a cultural icon. Imagine fashion collaborations, limited drops, colorways that celebrate moments from her career. That's how you build a dynasty. That's how you go from athlete to legend. But here's the question. Does the WNBA even realize what's about to happen? Because Nike sees the future. Fans see the future. Caitlin herself probably sees it too. But the league? Sometimes it feels like they're still playing catch-up, still treating players like they're just basketball pieces instead of cultural forces. Caitlin's sneaker isn't just about her. It's about whether the league is ready to ride the wave she's creating or whether it'll drown in its own lack of vision. And don't get it twisted. Haters are part of this story too. Every great sneaker drop in history had its doubters. When the first Jordans came out, critics said they were too flashy, too expensive, too gimmicky. Now they're the most iconic shoes on the planet. Caitlin's logo and upcoming shoe are following the same path. Right now, people are roasting the design, mocking the t-shirt prices, saying it's nothing special. But fast forward 5 years, and you'll see those same people scrambling to get their hands on limited editions, acting like they were fans all along. Because here's the dirty secret. Hate is just love in disguise. If people are fuming, they're paying attention. If they're ranting about $40 shirts, it means they wanted one. If they're comparing her logo to luxury brands, even as an insult, it means they know it stands out. Caitlin Clark doesn't need universal approval. She needs obsession. And that's exactly what she's got. But let's also talk about the timeline. 2026 is both perfect and terrifying. Perfect because by then, Caitlin will hopefully be fully healthy, more experienced, and settled as the unquestioned leader of her franchise. Terrifying because hype cycles move fast, and fans don't like waiting. If Nike doesn't keep the energy alive between now and then, the sneaker could flop before it even hits shelves. The logo is step one, but what's step two? Will there be special drops? Collaborations? Teasers? Nike can't just coast on Caitlin's name. They need to build a story to make this shoe feel like a moment. And that's the fun of it all. Because we're not just watching a sneaker launch. We're watching history. We're watching the first real test of whether women's basketball can break into the sneaker culture that has dominated men's basketball for decades. If Caitlin Clark's shoe blows up, it won't just change her life. It'll change the trajectory of the entire WNBA. Suddenly, every young star will be clamoring for their own line. Suddenly, brands will stop treating women's shoes as niche experiments and start treating them as essential pillars of their marketing. And if it flops, the haters will feast. They'll say Caitlin was overhyped. They'll say the league can't sustain this kind of branding. They'll say Nike wasted its time. That's the pressure she's under. That's the gamble. But here's why I think the haters are going to lose. Because Caitlin Clark has already proven she's bigger than the noise. She's dealt with criticism from day one. Too cocky, too flashy, too favored by the media. And every single time, she's answered with performances that shut people up. From dropping deep threes in college to instantly become the face of the WNBA, Caitlin thrives under pressure. Why would this be any different?